Alright, what's up, everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we're going to be recapping last night's two playoff games, game twos. And man, did we get some interesting things go on last night. We're going to talk about it all here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. Join the membership if you want to learn more about the membership. There's a video on my channel explaining all of it. You can go back and watch that. Link to my Twitter, TikTok, stuff like that in the description down below. And yeah, don't want to waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So we'll start with Celtics Heat game 2. Man, what was this a game? Miami does what everyone thought was improbable and impossible. They come out and steal game 2, winning 111-101, and they tie the series going back to Miami. Boston absolutely, again, dominated them in the first game. Everybody in the world, I think, knew, yeah, Boston's going to get them out of here quickly. This isn't going to be really much of a competition, mostly. But Miami not only makes the game competitive, but they win the game by double digits in Boston, which is not something that a lot of teams have been able to do this season, if at all, really. And Miami comes out and does it. The Heat's game plan was just interesting to watch it play out. For the offensive end, they were knocking down the threes. They hit a franchise record 23 3-pointers, which I know they needed to have a franchise day to beat the Heat Celtics, but they did it. They hit 23 threes in this game. Good on the rebounding. They only missed a couple free throws. They shot 49% from the field. The assists, they had 25 assists. Like, they were balling. Tyler Hero, 24, 5, and 14 assists with only 3 turnovers, hit 6 3-pointers. He was a lot more comfortable than he looked in game one. They gave him the ball in different places. I feel like he was making the right decision every time he came down the court. And he was getting his teammates involved. He was being more of a facilitator. But if I need to hit my threes, I'm going to do it. But also need to get everybody else involved, which is interesting to see Tyler Hero do that. And he did that at a very high level. 21 and 10 for Bam on 9 for 13. He had so many tough mid ranges in that fourth quarter when it felt like the Celtics were going to chip their way in. Celtics were going to take the lead, or Celtics were going to make it a 3-point game. Bam just hit a tough mid range jumper. That was just like, damn. Like, it wasn't even like Boston was playing bad defense. It was just Bam was just hitting them. And it was like, dang, you can't really do much but tip your cap off to Bam for hitting those shots. Caleb Martin, 21 points. He hit 5 threes. For some reason, when he plays the Celtics, he turns into Dirk Nowitzki. Like, I don't really know what happens there. He just turns into a 3-point marksman. And he did last night. He hit 5 threes. Jaime Jaquez hit 14, 11, 9, and 6 for Jovic. He did really good as well. Hayward Highsmith hit 3 threes off the bench. Tucker Robinson hit a couple threes off the bench. Like, everybody was chipping in. Everybody chipped in the offensive end. And something really interesting that when they interviewed Eric Spoelstra at the end of the first quarter, he was saying, yeah, we just need to take the shots that they're giving us. And that was something in game one that I felt like they didn't really do that well. Game one, there's a lot of times I was watching, I was like, Hayward Highsmith, why didn't you take that three? Kevin Love, why didn't you take that three? Or there's a lot of times where they, instead of taking the three, they would pump fake and try to drive because they try to establish their drive and kick game, try to collapse and get the threes like that. But at some point, it was like, you know what? You're playing against the Boston Celtics. You're not as good as them. You're going to have to take the open shot. When they give you shots, you have to take them and you have to make them. At that point, like, that's just what you have to do against the Celtics team because you're not really going to get that many great shots after that. So today, they took the shots that they were given and they made them. Even Boston was saying, like, hey, we felt like we closed out pretty solid on them. We gave them solid enough closeouts. But guys that, don't really make shots like that were making shots like that. And that did happen. Again, they hit 23 threes. A lot of guys that usually don't hit that many threes hit threes, But Miami still came out and did it. And they have confidence. They took those shots. But the defensive end, really. The defensive end, that was where Miami stood out. I mean, they always stay out in the defensive end. But their game plan was interesting. They were like, you know what, Boston? You guys want to take 53s? How many threes did they take in game one? They had to take, like, I think they took 53s in game one, I want to say. Like, I'm trying to pull it up right now. But basically, they're saying, Boston, you want to take that many threes? They took 49 threes in game one. They went 22 for 49. They're like, you know what, Boston? You guys want to take 53s? You guys want to just stay by the 3-point line and shoot all day? You know what? No. We're not going to let that happen. You know what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to drive in on us. Take us to the paint. Take it to the paint and score on Bam Adebayo. Take your little. They were settling. They were like, you know what? We'd rather let you shoot contested twos than let you stay behind the 3-point line and shoot all day. Especially when we're got that 3 ball going. you're not gonna get the free ball going at all. We're not gonna let you get hot and hit 23s just like we did. You're gonna have to come to the paint. You're gonna have to drive out on us. You're gonna have to get to the free throw line. You're gonna have to, shoot little turnaround jump shots. That's what you're gonna have to do to beat us. And it did happen. Jalen Brown had 33 and 8 in this game. He had some points where he was hot. Especially at the end of that second quarter, where I felt like it might have been a lost game for Miami because they had playing so good in the first half, and then Jalen Brown hit like scored like 11 straight points to end the second quarter, and Boston went to halftime with a lead. I think, right? Yeah, I think Boston went to halftime with the lead. And I was like, dang, but Jalen Brown was trying. Jason Tatum, 22, 28 and 3. He was hot early. In the fourth quarter, though, there's a lot of times where he didn't get the ball when he should have. Boston's like late game offense was literally Jalen Brown and Derek White, like trying to go one Drew Holiday doing pick and rolls and stuff, and Tatum was just standing on the wing. I was like, well, why is Jason Tatum just standing on the wing? Like there's like literally went I think like 3 or 4 possessions in a row in that fourth quarter when they were down like 6 or 8 points that Jason Tatum didn't touch the ball. Jason Tatum was just standing there, and I was like, what's going on here? Like, why isn't Jason Tatum getting the ball, getting to the free throw line? He was getting to the free throw line. He was your only really consistent offense for the most of the game. Why isn't he getting the ball? Everyone else didn't really do much. They limited the others. You know, they were like the Jays are gonna do their thing, but no one else is gonna do a thing. Derek White had 13. He tried. He had a couple shots in the fourth quarter, but that was really it. Drew Holiday was 4 for 12, 1 for 4 from three. Kristaps Porzingis had a struggle game. 6 points, 1 for 9, 0 for 4 from three, negative 32. A negative 32. Kristaps Porzingis was. That was amazing. Miami was really limiting him. Porzingis, I'm saying it a lot. Porzingis is the one. Porzingis is the key. Porzingis is the one that makes the Celtics team untouchable. The Celtics are already good, but Porzingis makes his team the best in the league. And Miami saw that. Miami was like, you know what? We're not gonna let him do anything. We're gonna limit him. Now, of course, Porzingis also was, I feel like, settling a lot, settling for a lot of those turnaround mid ranges. He has been the best post up player in the NBA this season in terms of numbers, but he was settling for a lot of turnaround jumpers on Caleb Martin, and stuff like that. But Miami was playing physical. It kind of was very similar to when they played in the playing game against Joel Embiid. When they were just fronting him, not even letting him touch the basketball in the post. Every time he got on the post, there was 2 people near him. That's what Miami did in a similar way to Porzingis. They're being physical with him, not letting him get the ball. When he did get the ball, it was just body, body, kind of like force you. Hey, take that mid range, take that jump out, take that turnaround jumper, take it. Take that shot. And Porzingis was taking it, and Porzingis wasn't making it, so it worked out. But yeah, Miami just putting together Eric Spoelstra. It just showed why he's the best coach in the NBA right there. Like without Jimmy Butler, without Terry Rozier, 2 top offensive options against the number 1 team in the NBA, he puts together a plan. He's always gonna put together a plan. He said, you know what? When you have open threes, take them. And on defense, don't let them take threes. Force him to drive. Force him to get to the paint. Force him to, do that. Because of course Boston, they've been heavily. They're a 3-ball heavy team. I think everybody in the league everybody in the world knows that. They're a team they want to beat you by hitting 23s, and they do that a lot. And their driving to the paint game has been in question. For the most of the year, just because they don't really do it that much. Not saying they can't do it, but they just don't do it as often. And also they have not played in many close games this year as well. Most of the time they're up by 25 with 5 minutes left. So it's like, why? We need to work on our close game. But when they have been in late game situations this year, they have not been amazing. They've been solid, but they have not been amazing. And this game, Miami closed them out. Miami hit so many big shots. Again, Bam Adebayo, that mid range. Javi Jaquez hit a big 3-pointer. Haywood Highsmith hit a 3-pointer in this game. I was like, dang, that might be it. Haywood Highsmith hit threes like that. So Miami, just credit to Miami Heat, credit to Eric Spoelstra for putting together a plan. Shout out to Miami Heat for executing that plan to perfection. And now it's a 1-1 series. It's very interesting for Miami winning this game. Instead of it being winning game 4 when they're down 3-0, or winning game 3 when they're down 2-0 already. Like winning game 2 is an interesting one. Tying the series at 1. Not letting Boston get the big advantage going back to Miami. Taking the game in Boston, now on a flight back to Miami. You know what I mean? And we still don't know about Terry Rozier really, what his timetable is. If they do get Terry Rozier back, that's huge. That's another 20 points right there and some assists. that they can get. But yeah, Miami, just shout out to them. Shout out to Eric Spoelstra. Shout out to the Heat because they always fight. This is what the Heat do all the time. They always come in. You always look at them and you're like, yeah, they're not doing anything. And then they come out and say, oh, really? Well, here you go. And they just do it all the time. But now we have a series. We have a series here. It's 1-1. Can Miami win another game? I don't know. Again, they had to hit 23 threes and limit Porzingis to 6 points to win this game, but they did it. So you gotta credit them for doing that. And next we had Thunder Pelicans game two, the other 1-8 matchup, and the Thunder come out and beat them. They beat them up. They win 124-92. They take a 2-0 series lead in this one. OKC from the get go came out and was like, all right, put on the gas. Chet Holmgren had a huge first quarter. Shea was doing his thing. Lou Dort hit a couple 3-pointers to start this game, and it was like, oh man, Pelicans could not make a three. Pelicans just couldn't make one. That continued for the rest of the game. It was just New Orleans just couldn't make shots. Brandon Ingram was getting hounded by Lou Dort. Lou Dort was putting Brandon Ingram in the torture chamber. Chet Holmgren was hitting shots. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander was just methodical. Just anytime there was one-on-one, it was a bucket. Jalen Williams is doing his thing. New Orleans just could never get things going. And OKC ends up winning this game. They're up 2-0. 33, 5 assists for Shea. Shot 13 for 19. Hit a couple threes. He was just only 4 free throws too. He was just excellent. Just the way he methodically just scores. It's just like it's so funny. It's so fun to watch. Chet Holmgren, 26-7, 2 blocks, he hit 3 threes. He was fabulous in this game as well on both ends, offensively, taking advantage of Valanciunas. New Orleans was trying to establish Valanciunas early, and he was like, all right, you're going to do that? Well, you know what? I'm just going to drive by him. He's going to the paint, but I know he might get tired, and he cannot guard me one-on-one. So I'm just going to drive to the paint and score. I'm going to go blow by him. He's going to leave me open this much for 3. I'm going to knock it down. And he did it all game. And then J-Dub, 21, 5, and 7 on 10 for 17. By the way, Chet Holmgren was plus 32 in this game. He was phenomenal. Then Lou Dort hit 4 threes. He had 15 points. Josh Giddey had 13 and 6. The whole starting 5 scoring double figures. Isaiah Joe hit a couple threes off the bench. Aaron Wiggins gave him some good minutes. Kesa Wass gave him some really good minutes as well on defense, especially. And OKC just came out and dogged him. They dogged him. And yeah, the rebounding battle. They won the rebounding battle, 37-35. That was one thing that especially early establishing Valanciunas. The Thunder aren't a big team. They don't have a lot of size. Valanciunas is a very big man. So they tried to establish him early, and it was working. I mean, he scored, the first, 11 points for New Orleans? After that, he was kind of, limited. He finished with 19. He finished as the leading scorer for the team. And rebounding, he only had 7 after having 20 last game. There was a great game rebounding by OKC. Everybody that played for OKC grabbed a rebound. Even the garbage time minutes. Except for Ousmane Dieng, everybody, even Lindy Waters played 3 minutes and grabbed a rebound. Everybody grabbed a rebound for OKC in this game. So just gang rebounding and winning that way. But yeah, OKC was just methodical and just scoring, putting the foot in the gas from the jump and just not letting off. They just really did that. In New Orleans, tough game after having such a really good game one that they should have won. I thought maybe coming in the next game, you're like, you know what? Brandon Ingram shot 5 for 17. We had 14 turnovers. We shot 20% from 3, and we only lost on 1 possession. So next game, they shot confidence, and it just didn't. They came out flat. They fell flat. They shot 7 for 26 from 3. No one on the bench did not hit a 3 for the New Orleans. Herb Jones hit 4, which OKC was allowing. OKC has been playing the game of, what, Herb Jones, go ahead, you can shoot those 3s, and he hit them today. It didn't matter though. Trey Murphy was 2 for 6. CJ McCollum was 1 for 5. Brandon Ingram didn't even take a 3. And the bench, Jose Alvarado was 0 for 3. Najee Marshall was 0 for 2. Dyson Daniels was 0 for 1. Jordan Hawkins played the final 5 minutes and went 0 for 2. They just couldn't score from 3. They just couldn't hit their 3s. When they got decent looks, but OKC was just not allowing it. They also had 17 turnovers in this game. Got out rebounded. Yeah, it was just tough. Brandon Ingram has not been good in the series. And a large part of that is Lou Dort. Lou Dort has been, he's been in the last couple of years one of the better perimeter defenders in the league. But he's just showing right now, yeah, you're not doing anything about it. Brandon Ingram only took 10 shots. Half of that was Lou Dort just hounding him. But also half of that was Brandon Ingram definitely at some points in this game looked frustrated. It looked like he lost a lot of his aggression. There's a lot of times Brandon Ingram was just like, you know what, CJ, Trey Murphy, you got it. I'm just gonna stand over here. Like he was not being really aggressive until the second half, where they're already down 15, and he was like, you know what, okay, now I'm gonna try maybe to find something, and he did. He started hitting a couple shots late, but it just he's going through he's in the torture chamber right now, and it's gonna be tough to get out, especially without Zion. CJ 6 of 14, 15 points. He's got to be a lot better as well. He ended the regular season as one of the hottest players in the NBA. You know, and so far through two playing games and two playoff games, he has not been that great. He's had some solid moments. Last night was an okay game, but he just has not been able to have that game where he has 27, 25, hits 5 or 6 threes like he did late in the regular season. Trey Murphy only 3 for 8. You know, yeah, it was tough for New Orleans. The three ball has not been falling. In the series and this game, just yeah, OKC was just being super aggressive with them. OKC was just not letting Trey Murphy get their threes, not letting those guys get their threes, and when they were getting their threes, they weren't falling. And just playing super aggressive defense and showing why they're number one seed. They're number one seed for a reason, man. Number one seed for a reason. And now OKC goes to New Orleans up 2-0, and this one is looking tough for New Orleans. I think that game one really hurt them. That game one, not winning game one, might have been the game to win. Because now OKC's coming out. They shot 48% from three. They shot 59% from the field. Shea had a big game. Chet doing his thing. J Dub doing his thing. Like Lou Dort locking it on defense. Like they just looked like they needed that one game to kind of get off the pre-game, the rust and stuff. And then game two, here we go. Kind of like Indiana. Game one, Indiana just looked kind of nervous, lost. A lot of players playing their first playoff game, didn't really know what to expect. Game two, they came out and were like, all right, here we go. OKC did the same thing, except they're up 2-0 because they escaped. They really stole game one from New Orleans. That was their game when OKC first time in the playoffs, nerves, not hitting shots, things weren't as crisp as they were in the regular season. New Orleans, that was their game to win. And now OKC's like, all right, we got a game under our belt. All right, game two, here we go. And they came out from the jump and were like, all right, let's go. And they looked like the OKC team we've seen in the regular season. They're up 2-0 now. Go back to New Orleans, so maybe New Orleans can get some mojo going at home, but it's gonna be really tough now with OKC, having a game like this, you know. But yeah, it's gonna be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really helps out a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.